real quick, my mom is here in Colorado. She's from Kansas. We're talking about living on Social Security, how to live on a fixed income, and how to live less than you make. Because this can be a very difficult thing to do, but it also doesn't have to be real hard either. Please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when we put up new videos. Hello, I am Tara, the author of the Dining on a Dime cookbook, where you can eat better, spend less. We have a new hardcover with full color pictures and over 1,200 recipes and tips to help you save money on your grocery bill. Check it out at livingonadime.com. We both have lived on only Social Security. Mom has chronic fatigue syndrome. I have CFS and fibromyalgia. And before I got married, I lived on $300 a month Social Security. Mom, that is what she has lived off of for the last 30 years, is just her disability, which is now about what, $600, $700 a month?
No, I just get Social Security now.
So,
pretty much.
but that's how much?
$750 is what I get.
$750 a month.
But I'd gotten used to a lifestyle of being careful with my money, controlling my money instead of letting my money control me. You have to concentrate where you're at, not worry about the numbers. Just take the money you have, the income you have, and adapt it to where you're living, and work those two together. Here's one of the ideas we always talk about is don't waste food. Not wasting your food can work for all of you.
Yeah.
You see? Mm-hmm. Drinking tap water instead of bottled water to save money. That's another tip or idea. Everybody can do that.
Before she came on disability, she had every single speck of debt paid off. All of it. Mm-hmm. Including her house.
And that's part of the secret.
Yeah.
Tara said disability can sneak up on you, and that's hard to be prepared for. You can be prepared for this stuff. I was prepared, and it's a good thing I was prepared.
Yeah.
Because when disability snuck up on me, it would have been devastating if I hadn't done this. But because I'd done this, I was prepared. So when people say, well, we lost our job and we just don't know how we're going to live and survive, while you have that job, you should be taking every extra penny you have instead of fluffing it away on anything. I mean, tighten up those belts, and you need to get your debt paid off. And you need the car payments, the mortgage, get that paid off so that when you do lose your job, you can work part-time easily when you lose a job if you have all this paid off and keep your basic bills covered easily.
You bring in $750 a month.
Yes.
So, off the top, what happens?
Off the top, I tithe. I tithe $100 off the top. I'm not going to go into this a whole lot. To me, my tithe is the most important. We have heard every excuse under the sun. What you tithe is between you and God. Please don't say, well, you don't understand my situation and I can't tithe because of blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. I find when people become defensive and feel a little bit guilty about this, they become defensive and they start telling me their excuses why they can't. It's between you and God. And I spend $150. It kind of goes up and down a little bit, but $150 on insurance for my car and my home, because my home's paid off, but that covers my car and my insurance.
So how much do you spend on housing a month then?
About $10 a month.
Okay.
Less.
And how do you do that?
Just pay for the 10. What do you mean? How do I do it?
What's
the
$10?
$10 is the insurance.
Okay.
Because I don't pay taxes. Because I'm over 65. If you're over 65, disabled, and you have low income in Kansas, you don't need to pay property taxes on that. The next thing I pay is, and on insurance, I don't pay very much insurance because I drive a clunker. And that's been saved me more than anything is driving that clunker. I don't have to pay expensive tags. My tags are almost nothing. As a matter of fact, my other car is the pickup, the yellow pickup. And I pay $17 a year for registration on that yellow pickup because I have it's considered an antique. It's so old, you know. And So you got to watch the pain of the tags and all these things when you think about your car stuff. And
Yep.
so I keep that down low.
Yeah.
And another thing I've done over the years that you need to start doing on your vehicles is I have bought cars for $500. Most of the time they've been $500. I bought one for $1,000. I bought another one for $3,000, and then my last one was $2,500. But all the way through all the $500 car, the $1,000, I sold after I was done with them, or they were wrecked or something. I sold all of them, got money back for everything that I paid for them for. So I really didn't even pay for the silly thing. You know, it was just because I got the money back when I sold it. I sold it when I was done with them. The $3,000 car, I sold it and I got half price for it. So, and after I use these things for like 10 years or more.
Yep.
And if you're worried about, we get all the time, well, I'm going to be late, you know,
Because of a car breakdown.
because of car breakdown to work. I have never been late for work. I've never known, you know, I just never been late for work when I was driving for my car breaking down. It never happened. Besides that, if you're a good worker, if you work hard when you're at work, if you show up on time, if you never just take days off because you just want to goof off and stuff like that, and you do have that happen to you and you call in your employer. I was employer. If I had an employee call in and say that and they were a good worker, I'd say,
yeah.
that's fine. You know, these things happen. So why that's such a big issue with people, it shouldn't be, because people are using it for an excuse. Okay, I have to use air conditioning in Kansas in the summer. I try to be as careful as I can. I get hot sometimes. I get miserable hot. As a matter of fact, I saw a gal from Australia. Hi, Aussie friends. I love you guys. But she was using her air con. Did you know that's air
Yes.
conditioning in Australia?
Yeah.
And she wasn't using it, and it was like in the hundreds back there, Fahrenheit, you know. And she was just dying. And she said, I really laugh at Americans because they keep asking me, why aren't you turning your aircon on, you know, first thing and just letting it run? She said, utilities are high there, so we just don't use it. I know, what a concept, you know. You can survive. You actually can live through a summer.
Yeah.
You may be miserable and hot, but sit in front of a fan, and it really cools you more than you think.
Yeah.
So the utilities is $125 for
Averaged.
average for everything. That's for gas, electricity, water, sewer, everything.
Yep. Quick. Mom does not pay for medical insurance because she is on Medicare, and then she was on Medicaid before that. So
Yeah, so I've got that. I usually say about $80 a month for food. And that's not being
that's
careful.
good. Yeah.
That's not using coupons. I mean, I do that anyway, so I don't really pay that quite that much. Usually I pay $20 one week and I'll go the next week, maybe not go to the grocery store, and then go $30 and not go for 2 weeks or something. So, you know, I'm just saying 80 just to make sure I cover everything.
And we don't do this, okay, I have $30 this week. That's all I'm going to spend this week on groceries.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
No.
As a matter of fact, I think that is counterproductive to actually saving on groceries. I think
It stresses you out.
I think you spend more when you do it that way.
Yeah,
because
you do.
if I go and find a good deal on hamburger, like one time I went on New Year's Day and hamburger was marked down to 99 cents because of the holiday. I got 250 pounds of hamburger. And that lasted, I split it between my sister-in-law, mom, and me, and my portion of that lasted us like 5 months. Well, I didn't have to go buy any meat for that 5 months, except, well, if I wanted chicken, I guess. But I mean, I had enough hamburger
Yeah,
for
you
that.
could have.
So,
And you know, if you're in dire straits, if you had to eat hamburger
Yeah.
for 5 months, then eat hamburger for 5
Yeah.
months.
yeah.
And another thing on the food is I find a lot of people on Social Security or limited income, like if your kids have left home, they take, and what you tend to do is you cook huge amounts.
Uh-huh.
A lot of women have trouble transitioning from their kids leaving home or they're by themselves and to that cooking smaller amounts. And so there's a lot of waste happening, and you don't know how to, you need to learn how to cook smaller amounts and start cable. I know. Oh my. I have no clue what Netflix is or anything like that. You know, I don't do any of that stuff. But I do, that is the only thing I have in the whole world for any kind of, it's been probably 4 or 5 years since I even went to the low income movie where I paid $2 to go. I do no other form of entertainment. I do nothing like that at all. You know, I just, that's the only thing I do. And I pay $50. Now that $50 is for my telephone too. So that's my cable and telephone combined. And I have the minimum amount of channels that I can get. And nothing extra at all. No extra channels or anything. And I have been debating about even getting rid of the cable at this point. So that's what I do for my telephone. I have no cell phone. I have a little flip phone that my folks gave me as a Christmas gift, or birthday gift, I mean. And that's all I have. You know, where I thought about getting a smartphone, but, you know, I'm not sure I want the payment, or if I really can afford the payment. So it's a flip phone for me for emergencies and stuff. So add that up, and it comes to about $225, $250 that I've got left of my money for the month. So what I do for that, I use it for things like if I need gas money, you know, that's part of my gas money kind of, because that fluctuates from $25 to $50 a month. I use that for car repairs, which I don't do huge amounts of car repairs. Even though I have older cars, I can go 6 months or more without even doing anything. I sometimes pay for an oil change. The $250 I have left at the end of the month, then I take, and maybe we'll take $25 and just do for stuff, the special things that I want. The other $200 I'll put in just savings, like just a little, just save back the money. And I do that every month. You know, I save the $200 every month. So like my refrigerator conked out. And so I wasn't a bit worried because I had my little savings. I took my cash and I bought me a new refrigerator. Now I bought a $400 refrigerator because that's all I needed. And I didn't have money for that unless I wanted to charge it, but I wasn't going to charge it. I didn't want the debt because I'm so free after having no debt. I don't want to even go there. So I use that money for when things go out. My heater went out, you know, and I had to replace that, and that adds up. But I use, some of that's used for Christmas money, but I also do things like I bake and sell gingerbread men, and I get a little bit of money. I use minimum amount, though, for Christmas. I don't spend huge money at Christmas. I spend around $25 for each person in my family. And so it's not like I know people that spend $250 to $500 for each person in their family.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm careful even down with that. So
all of the Christmas gifts, like 90% of them came from thrift stores, garage
buy
sales,
stuff at
brand new stuff. But
you know, I spend a lot of time on YouTube learning stuff. The other day,
Yeah.
my windshield got a rock. When I came to Colorado, it got a rock in it. And I didn't have the money to pay, really, to have it fixed. So I went on YouTube. I looked up how to fix that. I watched it about 4 or 5 times. I went and bought this little tiny kit. It was like putting glue on it is all it was. And I was actually able to fix it. I've done a lot of repairs like that for different things.
Everyone who's having this issue of living on Social Security and not making ends meet. Let me rephrase it. Everyone who's having issues with bills like credit card debt and car and all that, you aren't using the word no. You don't say no to your kids when they ask for things you can't afford. You don't say no to yourself when you feel guilty because you can't afford that $250 Christmas present. My mother spends way more time with my kids and my brother's kids than other grandparents ever did. And let me tell you, the money they spend on Christmas presents compared to Mom, guess who's the one that they go to when they have a problem? Guess who's the one who they call when they have something exciting happen? Mom. Because that quality time with the kids and the grandkids, being there for them, but you don't say no to your guilty feelings. You don't say no to whoever for buying the next outfit.
You're
or
trying
whatever.
to buy their love instead of just sacrificing yourself for them.
I think that's a big one.
And one of the major things to talk about saying no with the grandkids and stuff, at least once or twice a week, I will get a comment about, what should I do? I'm on Social Security and my grandson or granddaughter and her daughter's living with me and they don't work. They do nothing but play video games. They don't help me around the house. And I just don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I'm trying to support them on my Social Security. It's like, when she said no, you know, it's like, let's say
this
no.
lady yesterday on our What to Do When Adult Children Won't Leave Home video, This lady had the nerve after watching the whole video. Gotta give you credit. At least you got nerve. She said, well, the kids, I have one kid that's 40 years old that's been out of, or in the home more than out of the home. And all the kids and grandkids keep coming over and they keep eating my food. And I can't afford to keep feeding them these huge meals, and they just keep coming to my house. And I'm like, honey, lock the door and don't let them in. No, seriously.
I know. If she's choosing...
But that's showing a complete disrespect for you because your kids and grandkids are mooching off of you.
If you can't afford to be generous like that, it's a hard thing to overcome, especially if you have a nature with your children and stuff you want to give them. You've got to accept the fact you maybe can't be generous in your money, but you can be generous in your time and be generous in your love and your understanding. They need that just as much.
Have a good night, guys. Please visit us at livingonadime.com.
Bye-bye, guys.